Good evening, Defenders, and welcome to another episode of the Defender Fitness Alliance show. I want to thank you guys again for being part of the Alliance. Guys, make sure you guys spread the word. If you guys know of any veterans, anybody in the law enforcement or first responders community, have them join the Defender Fitness Alliance. All right. So with that being said, I want to welcome our very special guest this evening. He is a Marine Corps veteran, and he is also the founder and CEO of Vet Training and Coaching. He also is a personal performance and growth coach at Landmark San Diego. He studied wealth and creation and success mindset, success resources. He's doing a lot of things, guys. So this guy's a busy Marine outside of the uniform. I want to welcome our very special guest this evening, Chris Hoffmann. Chris, first off, I want to thank you for joining me this evening, for joining me this weekend. And let's start off with telling us a little bit about your service and what you're up to now.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Hey, first and foremost, man, thank you to have me on the show, man. Aren't you like a soon-to-be father or a father right now?
Soon to be, yeah.
Soon to be father, man. So you're like should be doing preparation father duties right now. So first and foremost, man, thanks for having me on Father's Day, man. I know that you got a lot going on over there in your life, and just thanks for having me inside your tribe. So guys, former Marine, I joined back in 2008, served for 4 years. I was a 4-year and outer. And in those 4 years, I mean, really why I joined because I never had a father. See, Father's Day has always been like a really lonely celebration for me. And I usually go up in the mountains and hike for the full day, but I came back early for reading to be here live with you guys. But I was raised without a father. I was literally raised by my mom, multiple father figures throughout my whole life. And why I joined the United States Marine Corps, plain and simple, is because I wanted to learn what it took to be a man. You see, I saw the military guy in the uniform. I how the Marine Corps sold me was climbing up on that mountain, and then up at the top, he has his sword and he's all dressed in his dress blues. And at that time, I was like, that's what a man looks like. That's who I want to become. And I was like, I'm going all in inside the Marine Corps. So I joined in 2008 when I was 19 years old. Was Motor T. We have a slogan: if you can't truck it, F it. Pretty much, got to live in Japan for 2 years in Okinawa, Japan. Didn't take up in hardly any culture while I was there, but I definitely did enjoy my life there. That was fun. Met some of the best men and women over there. I possibly met one of my best friends over there, actually, still to this day. And then I actually did deployment to Afghanistan in my third year into Delaram 2. It's a small fob south of Camp Leatherneck in Afghanistan. And I got to get some out there. I was a 240 gun Bravo gunner out there. And then my third year, I actually got out here in Miramar, California, where I kind of just fell in love with whatever San Diego is, man. And been out here grinding ever since, man. So that's kind of my story of why I joined and kind of a short version of my service.
Well, that's an awesome story, man. I never knew about that background on you, and thanks for joining me on this, like I said, the special day for the fathers out there. For all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Chris, any advice for those who may be wanting to serve, and what would your message be to those that are still serving now?
Still serving now. My biggest thing that I've learned through interviewing some of the top performing ambitious vets that are in the uniform and out of the uniform right now on my podcast is that you guys got to have a plan. I was actually on Veteran on the Move with Joe Crane. I think it was about 2 years ago when I was just getting vet training coaching off the ground. He always preaches start planning out a year out, right? One of the biggest things that I teach in my ebook, 10 Steps to Big Success, and creating a personal brand, which is a personal brand is really becoming known for something out of the uniform, there's a small formula to follow. Assess, strategize, target, and engage, right? Assess yourself inside and out. Find out, who you are, what your core values are, right? I have a vow assessment that I put guys through. I also have them assess themselves externally. Interview your friends that are in the uniform, your family members, stuff like that. Ask them, what am I good at? Stuff like that. Assess where you're at, because once you assess where you're at, you have a baseline to grow off of. Once you know where you're at, strategize, right? Once you strategize, you can actually start understanding what do you want to be known for and the skill sets that you have to develop to monetize out the uniform. Targets, just targeting where you want to go. Literally, what do you want to do, where you want to go, who are the people you need to network with, and then slightly just start engaging about a year out. When you guys do that, I promise you, it's still going to be hard, but you're going to have a good foundation underneath you as you start growing and planting more deeper seeds for growth out of the uniform.
Awesome, brother. Great advice. And just talking about your transitioning, how was your experience with that whole transitioning from, being in the Marine Corps and then getting out and becoming a civilian? What's one big advice that you would give to those that are, maybe in that phase?
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. For me, I was kind of the guy that waited till the last minute. I was in the Marine Corps, so they wanted me to be hard charging till the day I got out. I was kind of quote unquote a shitbag for the last 3 months because I was going to a lot of the unemployment workshops because I was seeing for myself that TAPS and TAMS and stuff like that, all those programs were not really providing me with the knowledge nor the resources that I needed to utilize. So what I did is I actually went to the unemployment and took workshops. And for me, what I did is I walked right out of the uniform one day, March 24th of 2012, right into 24-hour fitness the day afterwards and became a sales rep for them. And I literally just went right back into the civilian world. But what was hard for me is I learned that the civilian world, they use a lot of emotional language, right? And us as military, we use a lot of directive, mission-oriented stuff like that language. So right. I was literally I was a fish I was a fish in water and didn't know I was a fish in water, right? So I literally had to understand things that I didn't know that were in my blind spot. And I had to learn how to actually start acclimating to the civilian world again, start using feeling words, start figuring out how do I connect. How do I start connecting to my heart again, man? You know what I mean? Because I was so numb. I was like, bah, 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 bah. I was overly professional, man, and people could not connect with me. And, and for long story short, I worked for 24-hour fitness for 12 months and I got fired for some dumb shit. And then I'm sorry if I can't cuss on this, man.
You're good, brother.
And then it got really tough, man. In 2013, I tried to take my life twice. And I always joke around now since it's past that I was a Marine. We're broken crayon Marines, so we never do anything right. But I tried to take my life twice at the end of the year 2013 when I was living in probably the worst part of my whole life when I was living in the ghetto part of San Diego. For those of you guys are not in San Diego, there is a ghetto part of San Diego. Yes, in America's finest city. I literally, darkest part of my life, I tried to take my life twice and then it didn't work. So I was just like, okay, what is this life all about? And that's when I started realizing that I'm at a level 1 in my life. I'm at a level 1. Just like whenever I started in the Marine Corps, I was a private. I got to start building myself up. I got to lower my pride. I got to lower my entitlement, right? At that time, I was figuring out how do I consistently increase my disability and use the voc rehab and all this kind of stuff. And no wonder why my life started kind of getting unfulfilled, less impactful. And I felt like I was like this Clark Kent when I used to feel like a Superman in the Marine Corps, right? So long story short, man, as I started figuring out who I wanted to be, I started diving into personal development. I joined in network marketing companies, and I dove right into personal development. It had me start really understanding who I was, what had me react the way I reacted every single day, and started helping me create new thought patterns that empowered me versus disempowered me. And long story short, 5 different careers over the past 5.5 years of being out of the uniform, 2 failed businesses. And now I'm sitting here with you today, man, and sharing the story, right?
Awesome, brother, man. I mean, that's a lot of information to take in. So when you let's just go back to when you first got out. You said you joined, you got a job at 24 Hour Fitness. How did you get that job, and how did that come about to what you're doing now as a transition and personal training coach?
Yeah, absolutely. So how did I get that job? Well, it was cool because one cool thing about us veterans, especially ambitious vets that are resourceful and self-aware, okay, is regardless of 20, 30 people going in and interviewing for a job, you're the one that stands out. Now, at that time, when I was interviewing while I was still in the Marine Corps, I was walking into those interviews and I was stuttering. I did not know how to communicate myself at all to that hiring manager for 24 Hour Fitness, the club manager at the time. And I was super nervous. I had tons of social anxiety, and I did not know how to literally form a message of who I could be for the company. All I could say is, hey, I'm mission oriented, and if you hire me, I'll get my shit done. That's it. So long story short, what got me that job, the last spot that they had for this new launch of this new gym out here in San Diego, was I attended this workshop at the unemployment office that said the small things matter the most, right? Like if you read the How to Win Friends and Influence People, the Go Giver, all these are basic principles, basic wisdom in life that we all know, but we forget about it. Or someone's burnt us in our life and we stop thinking about these basic day-to-day principles and habits and routines and rituals that if we just did them, our life would work, right? And there was this thing that he taught us. He said a handwritten thank you letter, regardless of you getting hired right after the interview, go and give them a handwritten thank you letter and just say, hey, thank you for your consideration. And I have another option on the table on the side, but I just wanted to let you know that you have until tomorrow at noon to go ahead and choose me, but here's my handwritten note to say thank you. So one, you got leverage. Two, I'm sitting there having a handwritten note, and it shows effort in separating me from the rest of my competition. Long story short, I walked in, went to a 99-cent store because that's all I could afford for a car at that time out here in San Diego, and walked in, gave the club manager that card and thanked her and let her know that I had another option at Choose Fitness out here in San Diego the next day at noon, which I kind of did, kind of didn't. And she wound up calling me an hour later, said that no one's ever done that before, and she wanted me to come aboard. She liked the initiative. So that's how I took that job. And then what was the second part of your question?
Well, becoming a personal trainer, and then you talked about like the many different jobs and businesses that you've had. How did you end up to what you're doing now in vet training and coaching?
Whoo, buddy. That's a deep question. We could talk for hours upon that. Come on now. No, brother. I mean, really, what got me down to that is I realized that I didn't, I got to a point where I started my personal training business in like 2000, I think it was, 2014, 15. I was making like six figures with that. I was like literally hustling in the trenches. I was going to like apartment complexes, condo complexes here in San Diego and just pitching them, hey, I can literally have your people, your tenants living here, help the retention go up and help them roll out of bed and have their trainer rating for them. So who did I start training? I started Little Black Dresses, post-pregnancy and stuff like that. Women out here in San Diego, first thing in the morning, made six figures, but that company was branded around me, not a bigger vision. It had no core values. So it was never scalable. So I got burnt out. But to answer your question is how I started getting into performance coaching, life coaching, and personal branding coaching for vets, is I realized that the long-lasting fulfillment and transformation in people's lives isn't our external figure. It actually starts in here and here, right? And I realized that like I was a little bit more deeper guy than what I was, telling everyone I was. And at that time, I was a huge meathead, didn't read any books. I think the only book I read at that point was like Captain Underpants, which I'm not that happy to announce. You know what I mean? And, I just what I did is I went back to school. I used my GI Bill to study psychology. And I just fell in love with psychology, man. I fell in love with human performance and what has us not be effective in our everyday life. And then on the side, while I was going to school, I was coaching programs for an international personal and professional development company called Landmark, and was coaching like CEOs, vice presidents, and all this. Mind you, I'm a guy that's still at this age. I'm 30 now, but back then I was like 20, 25, 26, and I was coaching these high level executives and being effective. I was like, wow, like if I could just repurpose this and market it to like, you know, a demographic that like, I went to the seminar 2 years ago called Success Research, like you mentioned before, and they said to brand any company, you've got to market it to a niche that you've already mastered. And I was like, what have I mastered in my life? Well, I haven't mastered a hell of a lot yet. So I was like, what have I mastered? And I was just like, well, I've mastered the transition. So I was just like, man, what if I could come in and really help these ambitious veterans that have this gritty feeling to them, this resourcefulness, and these guys and gals that love personal development, and help teach them how to create a personal brand that monetizes out of the uniform. And all of a sudden, like I started working on the messaging for the past 2 years, doing a lot of market research. And I saw there was a huge need out there for veterans that were desiring to learn what it took to live an impactful life out of the uniform. And that's what led us to today, man.
Awesome, brother. Man, now you're leading veterans, trying to find their path out of the uniform.
Yep.
Great message, man. Hey, quickly, I want to give a shout out to Donald Dodson.
And, buddy.
Brandon Harris saying, "What's up, my dudes? What's up, man?"
Brandon Harris.
Brandon's another Marine. I don't crayon eating Marine.
Yeah, baby. Hey, we're proud.
What's up, Brandon? So Chris, man. So talking about your the vet training and coaching, what's been some of the worst moments so far in creating this training and coaching business?
Yeah.
And how did you overcome all that?
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, I'm always overcoming it, man. There's always challenges. The biggest challenge is veterans don't want to pay for shit. Straight up.
Yeah, true.
We don't want to pay for shit. So as soon as you say you're a for-profit company, veterans are just like, well, I could go over here and do a reboot workshop out here in San Diego for free. And I could go and do these nonprofits. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. Right. But then why is still 22 veterans a day committing suicide? Why is there still over 250,000 veterans out here in San Diego unemployed? Right. I bet a lot of them thought about the free resources as well. But if you do free things, you get free results. If you don't have any skin in the game, you don't have any commitment in the game. Plain and simple. So what the biggest challenge, man, before I kind of talk about how I surpassed that, is messaging, getting clear on how to speak to veteran. The veteran is a unique avatar to speak to. It's not easy getting to a veteran's heart. To make wanting to, have a coach, right? Where we get out, we think we got it together. I know I did for at least the first year, 2 years until my life started like boom. And not to say anybody's life is going to go like that. That's just how my life went. But the messaging was tough, branding, and really getting veterans to pay for stuff was my biggest challenges. And kind of how I've kind of went around it now is I've created a Facebook group called Veteran Empowerment Transition, and we use that. We use that group as market research, man. We use that to get clear on our messaging. We use that group to kind of test different things, bring in different influencers. I make money off interviewing people inside the group based on like back-end affiliate marketing and stuff like that. And, what I do is I tell any veteran that wants to become someone out of the uniform, be known for something, is that we are a results-driven company. I offer a 100% guarantee at the end of our signature program, Word of Passion Driven, that if you're not satisfied, I give you 100% guaranteed money versus going to a nonprofit that they're getting paid off the volume of veterans that go through their program versus the results that they're getting them, right? And we have tons of case studies of guys that have gone through our one-on-one coaching programs where they're diving into the trenches with me. They're diving right into the trenches with me where I walk them through the 3 phases of our program. So messaging, brother, veterans paying for shit, and just really creating a need in that market would be the three biggest challenges.
Yeah, no, man, I agree with you 100% with all that. Again, like the whole veterans. I mean, let's just put it out there. We don't like paying for shit, like you said.
Yeah.
We all want the free stuff, and then once we put a price to it, it's like, oh, how dare you put a price to your service or whatever. I mean, you gotta pay to play, right? If you guys want great masterminds, great coaching, there's a price to pay for that. I mean, you guys got to think that that person has to make a living as well. And, they have families as well that they got to feed. So, great point, man.
No, absolutely. So, also to add to that real quick, brother, for me, it drives me because I could go start a nonprofit, get funding and stuff like that and still, give myself a salary, right? But that doesn't put skin in the game for me, right? If I can rely on funding, do I have any skin in the game to get you results? Probably not. So like me being a for-profit business puts my skin in the game as well. So I'm literally in the trenches committed to getting you results as well, or I don't get fed.
That's the thing with nonprofit. You got to depend on somebody else to get that money.
Yeah, so. Exactly, man.
And that's why you see so many like nonprofits. I mean, let's be real out there. So many nonprofits out there popping left and right. And then next thing you know, they're gone. So.
Yep. Absolutely, brother.
All right, Chris. So let's talk about the best, the good times, right? What's been the best moment so far since creating this business that you have?
Yeah, man. It's finding leaders that want to do the same thing you're doing, man. It's the fun part is when you start creating momentum, and momentum's is created through one, following your natural skill sets and just saying yes to your intuition. But three, being really consistent, like just being super consistent with the small things every day. And as you do that, there's going to be people that, Gary Vee, I'm a Gary Vee guy, even though sometimes when I watch him, he exhausts me with how hard he works. He exhausts me, man. I'm amazing, man. Yeah. Gosh, whenever I'm feeling like a bitch, I'm always looking at Gary Vee. I'm like, okay, this guy's still grinding. But he says it's a law of one, man. There's, if you're getting one view on your lives right now, if you're getting one like on your post, stuff like that, you don't know who's liking your stuff. You don't know who's viewing your stuff, right? And that could always be something powerful. I'll share a quick story right now. I mean, even with the Facebook Lives that I do every Thursday night inside my tribe, I just went extreme exclusive with those. So I don't share them in other tribes and stuff like that. So we're not hitting 800 to 1,000 people a week. Oh, well, but it's cool because it's driving more quality traffic to our tribe. But here's a story real quick. About a month ago, a guy that I didn't even know that just launched a book called The Rise of the Vetrepreneur, Rico Danielson. Yeah, man. He found that Facebook Live, and I don't know if you know his background, but he's a severely successful business guy down in around Phoenix, Arizona parts, serial entrepreneur, and he's planning on turning that book into something huge. I'm not going to announce it for him, but it's going to be mainstream soon. And like that would have never, the opportunity of connecting with him and collaborating with him, what he's going to do with that book, would have never came up if it wasn't for me being consistent with my lives and stuff like that. So what the funnest times is actually getting, figuring it all out, man, and like standing against something that you're not okay with in the world and then attracting like-minded people as you stay consistent. That's the funnest part of this whole thing, man.
That's just so funny you said that, dude, because I was just talking to Rico. Me and Rico have been actually talking for the past or so. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get to work together soon as well.
Perfect.
Rico's an awesome guy.
He's sharp, man. He's a good dude.
All right, Chris. So for those listeners, viewers watching, the veterans, what's your biggest advice to those who may be wanting to start their own, I guess, personal performance coaching business? How would that would that go about?
Yeah, man. Ooh, man. That is a great question. So starting a performance and coaching business, I mean, really what it comes down to is you got to know how to listen behind what people are actually saying. Like you got to, if you are like me, I see myself as an empath, so I can pick up on people's energy and stuff like that. So to answer this question, I got to go back to a story back when I was in a network marketing company. There was a lot of this, what I call and teach is the feedback loop. It's a psychology theory where you got to listen to what people are constantly saying you're good at, right? 2, 3 people saying it's a conspiracy, 4 or 5 say it. It's probably something you should start focusing on. There's a lot of people saying you should be a coach because there was natural things that I was doing back then that was having people be like, wow, you really are good at helping people break mental barriers and helping them get unstuck in their life and listening behind what they're actually saying so they can get more clear in what they're trying to interpret. A lot of people don't even know what the hell they're saying. Believe it or not, they don't. And it's just like getting them clear on the thoughts that are going through their head and the invalidness of it, I guess. Don't try to use too big of words, Chris. I'm a Marine. Shit. The validness of it. And just like, if you can be good at helping, being able to really listen to people, if you're an empath, you can really pick up on things with people and you can empower them and naturally inspire them into action, then it's just getting results. Like one of the biggest mistakes I made is I went out and I got certifications. I got a veteran development certification through Blue Real Strategies. I went and got a psychology degree, did like 4 years as a coach inside of Landmark to finally feel like I was incubated enough to go out and start doing this. But I could have done it a long time ago. But I always tell everyone that it's just like, it's a marathon, not a race. And it always happens when it's supposed to happen. But I would just tell them, get around other coaches, join a coaching mastermind, join coaching groups, meetup groups, stuff like that. Figure out what's working in that market, figure out what they're doing, figure out what they're not doing, and go do that. And then create a niche, figure out what you want to be known for, and start creating online courses. Online courses right now are the biggest profit margin you could be creating right now. And then I would also encourage them to do a Facebook group to kind of just work on their messaging and use that group as their avatars, right? So I hope that answers your question, man.
Yeah, awesome advice, Chris. I guess that leads to my next question. What's one internet resource that they can go to or kind of, get guidance on to maybe start performance coaching business?
Yeah. Well, you guys got to figure out who are the other performance coaches out there, right? Like think about it. Blanchard, his last name, he wrote the High Performance Habits or something like that. He's a performance coach. Tony Robbins is a performance coach. Landmark is a great resource to start getting connected in, but they're more tailored towards transformative work. But when you think of performance coaching, what it comes down to is what's stopping you in being effective in your life. What's stopping you to being more productive, effective, and fulfilled in your life right now? What's in your way, right? And it's just getting that out of the way. So figure out what are the tribes around you. If there is a performance coach around you, take them out for a cup of coffee, figure out their model so you can collaborate. If you can't collaborate, figure out what they're not doing and go out and get that done. And, the first year of vet training coaching was me in coffee shops, in Zoom meetings. I know this is Be Live. I'm usually on Zoom. I'm used to Zoom. Literally just interviewing veterans that were still in the uniform, just getting out, and multimillionaire veterans, just asking them what would they create if it was a modern day coaching program. Like I would ask them, what was TAPS missing? What was all this missing? And there was a consistency across the board. And there was 3 main pain points. And I created a program around that, man. Right? People want to get rich quick, and it's just not about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It takes time, man.
It does. It does.
So, Chris, before we tell us a little bit about this ebook that you have, the 10 steps to predicted success out of the uniform.
Yeah, brother. It's an ebook that's been like in the works for like 2 years, man. It started as believe it or not, it started as a 10 like automatized like email drip campaign for my email list that was going to upsell them to like my coaching program. And then after that, I saw like the open rates of like the personal branding. I saw the open rates for being resourceful, some of these key topic points of the book. I was like, man, if I elaborated on this, this could become something. So what I did is I spent the next year interviewing people, recruiting some other guys that are passionate about self-help and personal development for veterans, and got their minds wrapped around it, man. And literally, we created the 10 steps to predict success out of the uniform. And kind of what this whole thing is about, it's the 10 top life lessons that I've learned out of the 5.5 years that I've been out of the business, out of the organization of Marine Corps, failing in 5 careers and 2 businesses, and what it takes to, create a solid foundation, some basic principles in your life to actually start creating momentum, create that impactful life, and really thrive out in the uniform.
And for those of you guys watching out there, we'll let you guys know later on as far as where you guys can get a copy of this ebook. All right. So Chris, coming up to the last portion of our interview here. So this is the part of the interview where I ask the 5 fitness facts of my guests.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, Chris. So first question, what's your favorite workout?
Oh man. Does it have to be like an exercise or a workout regimen?
Any workout or exercise.
I like supersets, man. I like supersets. I like hitting two spots. Like I like to do chest and then follow right back with a back exercise, man. I feel like Arnold for like 5 minutes until the pump wears me.
the pump wears away. What's next question? What's your least favorite?
Oh, legs probably. Doing squats because I sit around a lot. My hips are super tight. So I spend like probably the first 30 minutes like loosening up my hips just to go deep enough for squats.
You gotta do squats in between these interviews.
No.
All right, next question. So if you had to choose one person you could train with, who would it be and why?
I don't know, man. I would say Steve Cook. I was following him for a little bit, but then I was like, this is kind of one of those meathead guys. And I was like, Jocko Willink, man. Just his mindset. I don't give a shit if he rolls with me, breaks my arm, man. I'm just like, you know what? Just to be around his mindset, I'll take a broken arm over an MMA, sparring session. Yeah. You know what I mean? Definitely Jocko.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys don't know about Jocko, I mean, I don't know why you don't know about Jocko, but
yeah.
Check out his Instagram too. Every morning, 4:30 in the morning, he's getting it after.
Yeah. Awesome. Big book. Extreme Ownership is a best-selling author of that book. Guy's a former Navy SEAL, just a very influential guy in the veteran space. Guys, you guys gotta follow that guy.
Well, that was my next question. Recommend a book for our listeners to read.
No, I mean Extreme Ownership, but I also just read a good one, and it's The Go-Giver, man. Like I kind of just referenced that before, and it is like I love the wisdom books. I love the books that aren't trying to repurpose past principles into a new language for today's market. I like listening to the basic principles, and that's what The Go-Giver is. It's like like one of the core principles is focus more on other people's interests than your own. That's how you create influence. Focus more on the 100% win over there, and the law of reciprocation will always come back, right? And we don't think about it like that, but it really is like that. And if someone doesn't give you the law of reciprocation, then you know that that's probably not someone to have in your network. Plain and simple.
Excellent point, man. Yeah. Next question. Tell us your favorite quote and why.
Ooh, man, how I always finish any of my lives. It's a quote by Rumi. It's called "Hold the vision and trust the process." And the reason why that thing touches my heart so much is because, from the beginning I could walk as a kid. I was always in a chaos. I was always in extreme uncertainty, insecurity, and stuff like that, from abuse to homelessness to join the Marine Corps, which was probably my most solid time of my life, believe it or not. And then getting out, there was always some chaos. So hold the vision, trust the process. Everything that you're experiencing is this too will pass, and there's something to learn from it, right?
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent point, man. Trust the process, guys. No matter what you guys are going through out there, no matter how difficult it is, make sure you guys keep that vision in mind, like Chris was saying, man. If you guys have that vision, have that dream, keep going after it. Don't let anything nothing get in the way, not even your excuses.
Yep. Oh man. Come on,
Awesome,
man. You
brother.
wake me up over here. I'm ready to go. I'm about to go hike again. I already hiked this morning. I'm about to go hike again.
And finally, brother, where can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah. So the best place right now is go to Veteran Empowerment Transition Facebook group. There's that. I'm on LinkedIn. Just search Chris Hoffman. I should be one of the top names there. You can actually follow me on, Facebook as well. Just look me up, Chris Hoffman. You guys can go visit vettrainingcoaching.com. And if you guys still want the pre-selling copy of 10 Steps to Predict Success out of the uniform, it's at ambitiousvet.com. We're actually working on launching that in Amazon probably the next week or two. We just got Stephen Kuhn to write the forward for that. So that's huge.
Awesome.
It's huge. And, why are we still opening up the pre-selling process is because we're actually going to be creating a back-end fire team of people who bought it pre-sale. And we're going to offer an affiliate program for anybody that buys it from the Ambitious Vet website. And we're going to give them an affiliate process to actually make money through sharing, right? So they can actually make the money back from the purchase. So that'd be the best way to connect with us for now.
Awesome, brother. So guys, make sure you guys check that out. Ambitiousvet.com, you said, Chris?
Yes, sir. That's it.
And awesome. And then make sure you guys connect with Chris on Facebook, LinkedIn, any other social media platforms. Chris, one final question for me, brother. What can I do to help you?
Oh man, come on, man. You know what, brother? Like what you can do to help me is continue to share your story, brother. Like I had reading on my show, for those of you guys that are watching or are going to be watching later, on my show like a week ago. His story is absolutely amazing. Coming from the Philippines, spending his coming with his family, wearing his like cousin's female socks or shoes. It was shoes for a little bit, to like becoming who you've become today, man, which is a powerful active duty serving military veteran out there. Not veteran yet, but active duty military guy, to building this movement, to empowering fitness professionals and entrepreneurs and influencers, man. Like just continue to share that story, man, and continue to touch lives. And that's the best thing you can do for me, man. It's just continue to share that story, because people will buy into that more so than what you're actually doing. Yep.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you. Thanks for joining me this week, Chris, as our guest. And guys, make sure you guys check out Chris Hoffman at the social media platforms. Go check out that website to grab a copy of that ebook, ambitiousvet.com. And Chris, thanks again, brother.
Yeah, brother. It was really nice spending some time with you and connecting with you again, man. I always love seeing you, man, connecting with you, brother. Thanks for everyone's time.
Awesome. And if there's anything I can do for you, just message your way.
Vice versa, brother. So Fidelis.
All right, brother. All right, guys, take it easy.